Hello and welcome to Straight from the Cloverfield, episode 32. I'm your host Ralph. Today's topic is what a demon actually is. A demon is a one-dimensional thought / entity that plagues the mind. Now, the dimension, even though it's not an I, but it still sounds a lot like dimension, and MON, which means one, it's a one-dimensional thought. This is facilitated through believe and receive. So if you believe that you're possessed by something, then you're going to receive that effect. You have the power to change your mind, and you have the power to thwart malevolent beings because we, as benevolent beings, outnumber them by far. And there are plenty of kind-hearted individuals that would help and come around somebody and help them to defeat this. It's all linked into the dark night of the soul and all that stuff, and it feels as if there's something is possessing you or making you think thoughts that are uncomfortable. And if thoughts that are uncomfortable, you're going to try to block that, but it's going to come back to you tenfold because they upset you so much. But don't be offended by your thoughts. The mind is always thinking about thoughts, and the mind itself is what you would consider a demon. It's judgmental, and usually it conjures up thoughts that you would never say out loud. And everybody paranoid about mind reading things because the mind is very embarrassing and says horrible things sometimes, and it needs to be leashed and disciplined. And the bearer of the mind needs to understand that the mind is not tame. It needs to be tamed. That's part of the great work. That's part of Earth School. Learn how to tame your own mind and not be ashamed of your thoughts. Don't be ashamed of it. The fear, guilt, and shame frequency keeps you at a lower frequency. You want to vibrate at a higher frequency. You want to vibrate, and help to elevate yourself into the higher frequency. You train your mind, you have the power to change your mind. Don't allow anybody to program you, and don't allow your mind to program you and run you. You are the infinite soul, following the heart. The heart came before the mind. The heart is the leader of the way. The heart loves and seeks love. So remember that benevolence outnumbers malevolence by far. And yesterday, we got robbed, we lost a bag, and it made us realize that, there are individuals on the planet that need this work, that need us to do the great work so they can wake up and not, because only somebody of lower dimensional mindset would steal, because that is a violation of consent. You don't take what does not belong to you. This whole everything, the country was founded by stolen land. So there are some people here that still steal things. And you want to think that everybody's kind and generous, but sometimes that's not the case. And it's unfortunate because whoever stole something is missing something inside, and they need help and they need love. And we don't seek to press charges. We just would like our stuff back because, there were unborn characters in there that will never be because it was robbed. There were real locks in there. They are very special dolls that help to lock the wheel when it's going out of control, the great wheel. But that's really like the circle of dust, and they can stop the madness, and they can start and stop it. And they can keep the wheel going in a good direction. But we are exiting the circle of dust and wheel and entering the spiral of light, or whatever you want to call it, but it's a spiral because you will come back to situations that you once were in to see if you've learned lessons. And the lesson is from yesterday is not to leave anything unattended because you don't know, because broken beings will come and take what does not belong to them. And it's very unfortunate that somebody would just take advantage like that. But perhaps they might have learned from some of the things that were in that bag. Maybe they'll learn to be better, because we all make mistakes and do things that we're not proud of. So we don't condemn anybody. We don't say you're a demon or demonize somebody. But really, what this whole presentation is about today is to teach what a demon actually is. Because people want to thwart it outside themselves as some evil, vicious being that, and they're all malevolent entities, of course. But when you vibrate in a higher dimension, they cannot reach you there. You have to raise your vibration. If you believe that you're possessed by something, then that's what you're going to receive. You're giving your power away. You're giving something power that it does not have. But you put your energy into it, so it can use the energy against you. But you have the power to not have this happen. Because you allow it to happen, then you give your consent to it to happen, because you allowed it. Remember, the cosmic law of believe and receive is very powerful. The dark preachers knows this, and they play on it a lot. They scare people, and they make things, and they tell stories, and they scare people and keep them in a state of control and submission, where they think they have to confess everything they ever did. And trying to see what people do in their personal lives that is nobody's business, but then people feel guilt and shame about that. Like I always say, as long as you have not violated consent or harmed a child or just murdered somebody that was not in self-defense, then you are a good individual that came here to do good. Don't steal is the whole point. Violating consent is stealing. Stealing is a form of a consent violation. Respect everybody's consent. And always learn how to forgive. We forgive this individual because we understand that they are not in a high frequency. And they are struggling, because if they weren't, they wouldn't have done something like that. That's like, there is a term, the unbegun. That is the unbegun, because if they knew and understood natural law, they would not be stealing. But also that if you really look at it though, if somebody needs food and they're starving and they take food, that's not stealing, because Earth provides for free and that should not be out of the cost. But if it's not something that you need to survive and you sow something, it's wrong, because I just feel I'm very, very perturbed that there was unfinished dolls in there that were supposed to be gifts for people, and they will never be finished. Today we're spending a lot of time gathering supplies, see what we got around, but we got hit pretty hard here. But you know what? That's stuff, and we're going to get over it, because we also remember to take the time to be grateful and remember, look on to those people who suffered genocide and lost everything. So, you know what? We need to not be petty about stuff, and we need to be grateful, because it takes your energy to be angry at somebody. It takes a lot of your energy, and you waste your energy getting upset and angry. And remember, not the rapture in the past, because yesterday is the past now. And the bag's gone, it's not here now. But we're going to rebuild, and we're going to create bigger and greater projects. And we use the materials that we have. And there are very many generous individuals who have offered to help us out. And we gratefully appreciate that. So I want to thank everybody who was sharing on Facebook and sending prayers and offering to help us out. I mean, that right there is a gift, because you see how benevolence outnumbers malevolence. And most malevolence is misguided individuals that need our help. That's why we do the great work. Instead of calling people names or anything like that, we try to help everybody and understand why maybe somebody did what they did. So, whoever stole it, we ain't mad at you. We don't want to give you any karmic consequences. Because everybody has to go to cosmic court. So, but we understand that sometimes people have the reasons for doing things that are not kind. And the whole point of being here is to expose corruption and also let everybody know, don't just leave your stuff around. Because I think we were living in a dream world. Well, we don't like the term world, we call it Earth, but a dream, imaginary living where we thought that people wouldn't do something like that. But like I said, the benevolence that we received outweighed the malevolence that we encountered. And the malevolence that we encountered reminds us that the great work is never done, and we will continue to do it because Earth deserves a better outcome and improvement. Earth deserves to be treated better. Earth deserves to not have what it provides slapped with a price tag. So that's what we're doing. And so I hope this conversation was helpful. And remember, demon is a one-dimensional thought, and you have the power to change that thought. That's what they want to plague you with on the TV. The TV that tell lies to your vision. So that's what you'll be thinking about. That's what you'll be talking about with everybody. What you saw on TV. And you ever heard of Operation Mockingbird? Well, what do you think that was? All those TV quotes that people repeated and thought it was funny and hilarious because they saw it on TV. And the Dark Priest guys thought it was pretty hilarious and people were talking about it and about all that stuff and believing everything that they say that was bought and paid for. Turn off the TV, turn on YouTube, make videos, be inspired, share what you know, share what you learned, share what might have sparked inside of you. That's something that I said that you might want to talk about, that you got your own thing to talk about because it came to you. And that's what innate does. It will deliver you what you need to tell others. And when you tell others, it makes you feel good and inspires them so they can do the great work and feel good about what they're doing. So remember that. Remember why we're here. Remember our mission. And we are here for Earth. We are here to expose corruption and bring justice where it needs to be. And that's why we're here. That's why we keep going through lifetimes until we get it right. Because Earth deserves to be a utopia that we always dream about and think that we're going to get there when we die. But no, let's make it there now. Create it now. Find the Cloverfield and create it. And that's why this is straight from the Cloverfield. And I thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next one.